If you're watching this video, congratulations, you're about to stop playing like a moron CS finally by doing something simple called Bible, okay? So first thing first, we're gonna start easy. We're gonna start with some round everybody fucks up the most. It's the simplest, easiest way to get unfriended on Steam instantly, okay? So if you want to get unfriended on Steam in your next Faceit game, do the following. In a 5v5, okay, we have the pack and the extremities. Everybody knows it. If you want to get unfriended on Steam as an extremity, go ahead and die alone, okay? Just remember, the whole team is gonna be like this, okay? We're taking stuff together and some fucking bimbo goes out, be alone and dies. Just remember, everybody's gonna look like you at you like this. Bro. Okay? So this is how you lose friends. They will never ever talk to you again. Level 7 and above on Faceit. Guarantee never talk to you again. Their whole fucking life. Okay, so how do we play a 5v5? We have the pack and the extremities again, okay? The pack takes map control or looks for a pick. The extremities just chill. Hold for pushes, okay? They can optionally do use of their nades, okay? They can put some pressure before the pack wants to take something to make it easier for them, to attract some rotations. And regarding the split, any split works in a 5v5. We can go 1-3-1, 1-4, you name it, there's good solutions for everything. Very simple. Now, let's discuss around with action in a 5v4, okay? What can we do in a 5v4? Number one of the best things, do nothing. Literally do nothing, but do it in a good way. If you're in the pack and you freeze, do a setup anti-push, okay? Make sure you have some trades if they push that part of the map. If you are alone, either take a good off angle or jiggle to get info if they push. One key aspect if city side pushes in 5v4 is that if they push B, they're not gonna push mid and A at the same time. Okay, so as soon as you spot the push on some part of the map, the other guys can start taking control on the other one. Okay, eventually, of course, we're gonna have to play the round if they don't push. So what do we do at that point? At that point, we have two options to either get a side lurk or a mid lurk, okay? I'm talking only about the lurk solution now. So we have two lurk solutions, side lurk and mid lurk. For both of them, it needs to be close. Close mid or close to the side. But what do I mean by close? You must be able to, one, hear the rotations, two, act quickly, okay? By act quickly, I mean you must be able to play onto the side after your team fakes the other one, okay? So that's why you need to be close. You might need to play, okay, to get info or to get fights. Now, with a side lurk, it's very easy. With a side lurk, is the easiest fucking thing in the world, okay? Let's say there's 1A and 4B. Now, if 4B executes, the only way you can involve the A player into the round is by letting him play first after you fake. What happens if you do anything else? If A guy plays first, then you're again a moron. It's just the first thing I explained, okay? They're holding you, there's no distraction, you are just playing alone. The weakest part of the map, you're just going out, you're gonna get unfriended, nobody's gonna ever talk to you again, okay? You went alone, you are trolling. Okay. What's the other stuff that can happen? Okay, this guy can fake for the 4 guys. Well, what's the point? What can he fake? They gonna know it's only one, and then what? Okay, so the way you play it is the pack will either execute or contact, okay? And then they won't commit. They will let this one play first. That's the only way this guy is involved into the round. And then he will get info or get the side control and everybody will rotate to him. And based on his info, we either commit or go back, okay? So we commit if he dies, we go back if he finds an empty site. Easy fucking peasy. Now, let's talk about a mid lurk. With mid lurk, it's a bit different. Mid lurk will 99% of the time just listen for rotations, okay? So if our execute on the site, the packs, is successful. By successful, I mean we just don't get blocked, okay? If they smoke or molly us, we are blocked. It's an unsuccessful execute. But if the exec is not countered in any fucking way, then the pack is gonna commit no matter what, okay? So we get the site and the middler keeps staying silent, okay? If we get the site and they let us, it means they either pushed other part of the map, the city guys, or they are holding right now, you know, they are smoked. Only thing they can hold is flanks. Like, don't play now as a lurk right now, okay? Again, you know what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna happen. Unfriended, maybe even blocked at this point. Like, it's obvious they're watching you, okay? So in this situation, you're gonna play very, very late as a late flank, okay? Now, second option is obviously if they block. If they block, now the information game is really important. We want to end on the side with the least amount of players for obvious reasons, okay? I would rather go on an empty site than fucking go on a 5-stack site. Okay, so based on the info, let's say we know they are 3B, 5v4, remember. There's max 1A, we don't commit. We run all the way to A, and the mid guy is now gonna listen again for the steps, and he will just tell us again, you know, they can be faster than you to A, go back to B, so on and so forth. Okay, so he just dictates where we go. We want to end on the site with the least amount of players. Okay, and it's the same idea. He still doesn't need to play. We have all the info. He just needs to cut rotations if they're faster than us and we need to commit on that site. Or he can again just play late. If we are the ones getting the site, it's same scenario like in the first place when the exec was successful. We have the site, you're gonna play late because there's nothing else for the enemy to do rather than clear flanks. Okay, now what's the other thing we can do in a 5v4? In a 5v4 there's a very special option that is to have two lurks somewhere, and I'm gonna explain. Okay, so the reason why it's good to have two lurks somewhere and have 3 guys on the other side of the map is because we can let the 2 lurks play. Now this is a very special case, okay? Let's break down all of the options. So keep in mind, when we split 3 with 2 now, I mean 2 are gonna be on one side and 3 are gonna be on the other side. You cannot play with mid in this setup. So let's say, remember, city are 4 guys alive. Let's say there's one city on A. Let me take this. Okay, so green is gonna be city. Let's say it's 1A and blue is gonna be more green. So blue is gonna be 3 greens, okay? So 1 city guy and 3 city guys. 1A, 3B. Okay, and let's say our 2 lurkers play on A, okay? They have a 2v1. It's favorable for us. We have the trade potential. We can take A and just rotate. This is how we can win the round with a 2v1 on site. Now, what if they are 2A? If they are 2A, then it's a 2v2. And it's harder for them, obviously. Let's say they both die. If they both die, we can still win the round, because that means we are in a 3 versus 2 on the side we want to plant the bomb. We are still into the round very easily, okay? Now, let's say they are 3A and 2 of our teammates. Now, you can see where this goes. On the side where we want to plant, it's gonna be only 1. 3v1, we're gonna take it, okay? This is how we play. This is how we play 5v4. Now, some of these things are gonna repeat a lot. In a 5v3, we have the following options. We have again the hold option. We have again the getting a lurk option. And now we have even more. From now on, we don't need this 2 lurk stuff anymore. It's still gonna work, obviously, because it's even better advantage, but we can win the round at some point in easier ways, okay? If it's a 5v3, one thing we can do is send one guy to search on the sites, okay? He can either find an empty site, or doesn't matter what amount of player he finds there. We have, at the worst case, we have a 4v2 if there's at least one guy on the site where the solo guys is gonna play, okay? It's very easy, it's just math at this point, okay? In a 5v3, what you don't want to do, you don't want to execute S5 or commit or contact S5 as commit, okay? Because the city guys are desperate, they can stack a site at this point. And that's why we need some information still. In a 5v2, again, just omit the 2 darker option. You can do all of this that were mentioned earlier. So that is holding for pushes, that is getting a lurk somewhere, that is having one guy to play solo for information. And at this point in a 5v2, it's very easy even to execute something as 5 or to just contact something as 5. And 5v1, same like 5 versus 2. However, prioritize not executing because it's only one alive, okay? Just try to maximize the economy as well. Don't use too many nades. Now, let's see how we deal with the 4v5. With the 4v5, we are obviously in disadvantage, so we want to get a pick somehow. The only way we can do it is by playing 4 together or 3 with 1. There's never makes any point to split 2 with 2 at this point. Again, we always need to have a strong part in CS. We always need to have the concept of pack constantly on this side. There's no fucking scenario where it's not good to have a pack on this side. Okay? So, again, 3-1 or 4-0, you do anything to get a pick. Let's say you have some triple boost, anything, you try to get back into the round. If you cannot, you're just gonna play normally to get map control, okay? You're gonna keep taking map control. Imagine it was a 5v5, do what you were doing usually, obviously with a player less, okay? So take as much control, and if they don't give you anything, you're gonna be forced to just end the round at some point together. Now, with the 4v4, we go again at the things we mentioned previously. You can either hold for pushes. It's again good to have the lurkers to the sides or mid, okay? So these two are still valid. What else is valid? In a 4v4, it's also good to execute some part of the map. Surprise, surprise. Why it's good to execute some part of the map? Because, and keep in mind, this is very important that in these kinds of round, they start in a 4v4, it's better to hold at start and then do something else. And let me explain why. In a 4v4, the cities are gonna be very likely to push something, okay? So you want to catch them into your setup as they push. Now, them being likely to push, what does this mean? That means if they don't push the side where you are stacked towards, having the setup, it means they probably pushed something else. So that is why it's good to execute, because it's very likely that on your side is not gonna be that many players, okay? So you can either execute or contact in a 4v4, all together, S4 on a side. You held 10, 20, 30 seconds, and then you go onto the side, commit, okay? That works. In a 4 versus 3, exactly the same, okay? In a 4 versus 2, you can also add, again, the one player playing for information solo somewhere. You can see why the math is very easy at this point, okay? And in 4v1, same like 5v1, okay? So, very easy stuff. Now let's go down even more disadvantage. 3 versus 5, it's exactly the same. We're gonna have the pack, either 3 together going for picks or just taking map control. If enemy don't give anything away, or split 2 with 1 and try to make a play, create some timings for the solo guy, whatever, okay? 3v4. 3v4, it's again a very special round, like none other. In a 3v4, the city guys are likely to not push because they're in advantage, okay? They're gonna try to play for information. One smart thing you can do in a 3v4 is throw some smokes that block the vision on some part of the map and force the city guys to push something to get the needed information. A simple example, let's say we are playing Ancient 3v4 again. They have fast info everywhere. They have B ramp, cave, mid, and A. They have no reason to push. But if you are B doors and you smoke Red Room and Donut, they lost mid info. It's likely they're gonna push B. So you can force some pushes. You can do these smokes and go do a setup where it's most likely they're gonna push, okay? So that's option number one. In a 3v4, well, let's think. What else can we do in a 3v4? First of all, we would have to group together. It's always very good to group as 3 when we are 3 alive, okay? It's another very good way to lose friends, okay? If somebody says, let's split in a 3v3, in a 3v4, just never talk to him again, please. Okay, so in a 3v4, besides doing the smoke thing together, them into the push, and you kill them masterfully, you can also contact somewhere S3. Okay, you can contact somewhere S3 because if they're not pushing, it means they're not extremely stacked in all places, and you can just figure out what is the site with the least players and just try to contact that. Okay, now in a 3v3 it gets even simpler. You have two options: either hold for pushes or contact somewhere. Surprise, surprise. Okay, 3v2, same thing. Hold for pushes, contact somewhere. 3 versus 1, hold for pushes, contact somewhere. Okay, now we go down to the easiest ones. Now 2v5, you're always gonna be grouped, okay? Again, remember, you need to have a pack. If you split, you're automatically, there's no pack in the team anymore, okay? So 2vx, no matter what, you group together and you do something together, okay? In 2v5, in 2v4, and especially in 2v3, 2v2, 2v1, you're just gonna contact together. You don't want to pull out any nades, do anything, because it's very likely the city guys are pushing at the same time. There's no point to execute a site when you know the enemy is pushing something as well, okay? So you just want to get the contact and be focused on your crosshair. Now in 1v5, 1v4, blah blah, good luck. You are the pack and the extremity, okay? So do you, my friend. 1vx, do you, my friend. Okay, so that's whole T-side Bible done. See you on the city one.